This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today in the arena you're going to see a selection of like a run I made at the ladder with my day off. I get a day off from playing Magic. What do? Play a ton of Magic because I am a committed blue mage. And yeah, that final mythic run is always something I feel like I have to marathon. It's rare that I wake up as Diamond 1 and then just go straight to mythic. It's much more like you go up and you go down and you go up and you go down and you have to battle through. But then what happened, the full story of this video, is I started out with a few Esper Yorion decks and then a blue-white Yorion deck, and those were terrible, and I actually D-ranked all the way into Diamond 3. Yeah. And then I was like, well, I can do better than that. So I switched it up and I played a blue-white control deck for a while, another version of 8 Teferi with Fae of Wishes. And then actually the first version didn't have Fae of Wishes, I'll tell you straight up. And that version also lost quite a bit, was part of the D-ranking process. And then I added Fae of Wishes. I went back to my guns with a Wish board and the beautiful Granted and Fae of Wishes combo, and I suddenly hit a huge winning streak. And what you're going to see is a selection of games from the streak on the climb. And then, of course, once I was on such a hot streak, I didn't want to stop when I got back up into the higher part of Diamond. And so enjoy the run. I think you'll find it very amusing. And if you learn one thing from this video, it's that Fae of Wishes is the frickin' booty of doom. And it is an excellent card, and I would not play some kind of a blue-white control or blue-white super friend based deck without it. So why do I call this solar? Let's talk about that really quick. I call this solar because it's based on an old deck called Solar Flare. This was a deck that would play a card called, was it Careful Study? No, Compulsive Research. And that's a draw 3, discard 2 sorcery for 1 blue and 2 other. And they would draw 3 cards, and then they would discard like a giant creature, like some kind of an amazing creature. We'll call it Ugin the Spirit Dragon. No, it was definitely a creature. We'll call it like a Sun Titan. And then they would play Zombify to pull the card out of the graveyard and put it directly on the battlefield. I feel like it was a big angel. I'm forgetting. Anyway, Boomer Magic. But this deck is called Solar because it's based on the old Solar Flare deck, and the strategy in this one is to use Teferi Master of Time to discard an Ugin the Spirit Dragon, and then reanimate it a few turns later with Elspeth Conquers Death for free, which is pretty epic because you get the big Ugin action, and then you have all your mana untapped that turn to have huge follow-ups. So that's the play pattern we want to create. Turn 1 or 2, make big wall or stop opponent from doing thing. Turn 3, Teferi or Narset. Narset to grab the pieces of the combo, or Teferi to slow the opponent down. Turn 4, Master of Time, discard the Ugin, and then turn 5, Elspeth Conquers Death, eventually getting back the Ugin. So a very powerful tap out control strategy. I hope you enjoy it. If you want to check out the sideboard, click the deck link in the description, and you can't see everything very well, but there's a Mass Manipulation, a Finale of Revelation, a Heliod's Intervention, then another Ugin, and we also have a Spice, a card I really hate, but it's here. Maybe you'll like it. Ashiok Dream Render. Let's do it. All right, dive in. Let the nonsense begin. Oh yeah. Wish, Teferi, Shatter. It's going to be hard to run me over. Temple of Plenty. Not what I expected. Bacon. Let's get the tap land out of the way, then the bacon. No. If we play the bacon on 2, we can't play the Fae. Temple Garden. Double bacon. Alright. Well, it doesn't look like we're going to shatter anytime soon. But I will get my 1/4 onto the battlefield, as having some kind of a board presence when you have a Teferi or a Narset always turns out to be kind of important. What are you doing, opponent? Whatever it is, it's not moving very quickly, so having a Narset to stop card draw, if they're a deck that likes to draw extra cards, might be nice. And they have green spells, so Aether Gust might be nice. I am concerned they're just going to slam a Questing Beast. That is scary. That would get right through the Fae, kill the Narset. Saduro. They were a Bant deck that didn't have blue or played the wrong land last turn. They played the wrong land last turn. Okay. Sad Monvuli Recluse.
I have just the trick for
Yeah,
this.
we grab ECDs now.
This isn't a fight.
That can go back where it came from.
I'll protect you.
And we'll get a scry, and we moved up into high gear. They must have just played the wrong land. The fact that they played 2 blue sources in a row means they did have one the turn before. Here's an ECD.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
ECD wants to ferry. I got you. We don't let the opponent get their Teferi to bounce their ECD. Oh boy, it's gonna be like that. It's like that, y'all. Alright, fine. You get the last Elspeth Conquers Death, at least for now. I mean, I could go get Light of Hope and kill it, but they don't have anything in their graveyard. And we could always make that play soon-ish. What I'm worried about now is the second trigger, keeping me from using an Aether Gust well. So we want to tap out mostly this turn. So let's play Narset. The opponent took out my Teferi before my Narset.
I have practiced.
It does
against
imply they have
miracles.
something instant speed they
Oh,
want
no
to do.
promise.
So if I could find another Teferi, that would have been nice. But we do not. And we'll keep holding this back because Nissa. I don't need to attack the opponent to death. Settle in. We're going to have a battle. They kept on top. They have the Nissa.
It's a strange and magnificent world.
So what are you doing, Nissa? Sure you're untapping something.
Harness the elements.
Monvuli Recluse. We've got some walls. Let's see what Narset can find.
Meditate.
Ugin.
Prepare.
Seems good. Around 6 mana. So we're going to play a Gust on our opponent's turn. We might also use this. Discard 2 land. The opponent still can't draw the extra card. And they have nothing in the graveyard but the Uro, which doesn't get them anything. And in response to the trigger, we can hit the Nissa, but it's at the start of the main phase, so I think we'd want to do this in the draw step. Anything else we can do with the mana? I guess we can make a 1/1. Might matter. No attacks. End the turn. Effect wears off. Opponent draws. We do it after they draw because we want this to be a card deeper, a card further away, that they have to wait till next turn to get it. They can't just recast it. So Uro comes back but does not draw a card. Let's pay attention to the stick here. Do they have a land in their hand? If they do, they might put it into play, but they might also hold it. Some people like to bluff. No stick. 2 non-land cards. We survived an ECD cycle. Will we survive another? So they target the Narset. We want to bounce the Fae of
I won't
Wishes.
forget our time together.
Alright. Let's discard these lands. I'll keep the Hallowed Fountain because with 2 beacons, sometimes you run out of the right colored symbols, and I don't think our life total is going to be hurting too much. Now, if we Ugin here, we can wipe out the ECD and the Moinvuli Recluse, and still have a blocker for the land, but the opponent will play the Nissa and have a backup. So that's not great. We could go get a Light of Hope and be done with this, or we could go get a Veto, and then with a Veto, the Nissa is stranded. That's pretty good. Because the opponent doesn't have too much going right now. Maybe we'll just make it Disdainful Stroke. Does the opponent have a large creature they might play? I don't think so. Alright, and they could counter the counter. The other thing we could do is get Mass Manipulation and just say do whatever you want. I'll steal it. Veto puts in the graveyard. That's a problem. Because then ECD gets it back. Better to steal it. Better to steal it. Teferi, 2 life, bounce the breeding pool.
If you show remorse, I'll show restraint.
We still don't want to give them anything cool to get out of the graveyard. We do need 1 more blue source for the Mass Manipulation. Here's Nissa.
Power surges through these lands. Behold, nature's true power.
No blocks necessary. They're both at Teferi. Teferi definitely dies.
According to plan.
Opponent has an Uro coming back. 1, 2, 3, 4. ECD attacks and 1 more. If we wait a turn, we get a much better Mass Manipulation. We can shatter this turn. The opponent goes nuts, and the next turn we wreck. So, 1, 2, 3, 4 gets a Plains. That's 5. That's not enough. Or we can just let them have a big turn and shatter later. Yeah, what all can they actually do? Not much. They can't do much. We can just play this and not tap the castle. They might have a Krasis. Krasis is a good reload. What do they have here? Only 2 cards in the graveyard. Okay, make another. Why not?
Rise, my elemental friend.
Okay, you only have 2 cards in your hand. I mean, it helps out a little. Don't get me wrong. It's not very impressive. You can do it multiple times, but it won't change. They don't gain trample. So we got some pretty good blocks. $26. What else you got? Fabled Passage. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I think we're looking at Shatter the Sky and Mass Manipulation for the Nissa. I could Mass Manipulation for more and just steal these creatures, though. If the opponent had a Mystical Dispute, it's a big blowout. But I think it's worth it. The opponent doesn't know we don't have the last blue source. This is the unknown card in the hand, as well as one of the shatters. Alright, what's that last card? What do you think? I doubt it's a counter. Opponent could have tapped those. Kind of a fail there. Do we attack him with some bacon? I think bacon's the most expendable land here. They scoop it up. Do not want to be attacked by bacon. On the play, we got the Gust, the Narset, the Shatter. We need a blue source, but it's a good hand. We will keep it. You can feel it. You can feel how close the mythicness is getting. Assert dominance. Show him the island. Nemesis located. Could really use another blue for this Narset. Yeah, let's Gust. Let's just Gust now. And they put that on the bottom. Ah, really needed the blue for Narset. Would have been amazing. Steamkin, Fervent, Champion, Runaway, Steamkins. Shatter of the Sky before they play an Annex. A 1-for-1, a 2-for-1, 3 lands, 4 lands, 4 cards, 4 cards. Steamkin on the board. Nothing, though, nothing for me to ECD. So let's get Narset going. Better late than never. Birth of Meletis would be nice. Glass Casket would be perfect. Teferi will have to do. How nuts can the Steamkin go? Pretty nuts when you start lighting stages. Uh-huh. Oh boy. Not like this. Not like this. One Runaway Steamkin played the whole deck. One Runaway Steamkin went the distance and wrecked me all by itself. Come on, Shatter. We're gonna need another Shatter. We're gonna need another Shatter. They use the ability of Rimrock Knight to get the Steamkin on full so they can do something with it again. And there's an Annex. Shatter won't help. No! Alright, this is scary. We're still at 19 though. ECD. Get the Annex gone. Get it ticking. If we draw land next turn, we can still try to Narset into Shatter again. Castle. Castle's pretty good. It's gotta be a cleave, right? I just got wrecked by one Runaway Steamkin so much in this game. It's stupid. At least they don't have a cleave. I'm at 4 though. I need a perfect draw. I need what they got when they used their Steamkin. I need perfection. Okay, there's a land. We need the Narset to hit the Shatter. That's how we do this. Ready?
So many mysteries to uncover.
Slow roll myself for the funsies.
I have just the trick for this.
Streak ends. Streak ends. Ah! Not like this. Going for Mythic. True try-hard mode. Mono red for sure, right? Easy mono red. Dope. I'm gonna put the Shatter away because it doesn't look like a matchup where it's good. Normally, I would immediately play a Narset or a Fae here, but I think I'm about to get a Growth Spiral with an Aether Gust. Let's slow this down. To the bottom with it. They're worried about curving out without the draw. Okay, Uro it is. Too bad. I had a Narset for that, but the opponent on the play got under it. Now we'll see if they also have ECD right on time.
My prowess is on home your prowess.
Narset can be good in matchups with Bant if you catch them with a hand that's all like Teferi, Growth Spiral, another Uro. Or it can be very sad if the opponent already ramped because they went first and then they slam Nissa. Is this a good game or a sad game? I think if they had Nissa, they would have played it already and laughed at me the whole time. They would already be laughing in the end zone. Fabled Passage, what do you got? Forest, located. Teferi, okay.
I am not going to sit this.
Not bad.
Let's try this.
I do play Aether Gust, but I don't play counterspells in the main, so it's not too bad for me. Now, should we go get... The opponent doesn't have Nissa, but should we go get something like a Veto? Not with a Teferi on the board, right? We need to find Elspeth Conquers Death ourselves.
Meditate.
All right.
Prepare.
I think we'll just play a Master of Time and start working on things. I am not eager, though, to throw away this Hallowed Fountain, which is a really good mana fix, or this Casket, which is really good against Krasis.
It takes impressive knowledge to be a temporal archmage.
I can throw away this Plains. That's fine. Especially with a Birth of Meletis in hand. Opponent did not hit a land off that spiral, so we're looking at least 3 non-land cards and a draw step that we're not sure about. Boom. Let's see what they target. The Teferi? Nice. We've got another! Surprise. We'll drop off Birth. Not the finest card here. I think I'm getting Light of Hope, though, for this Elspeth Conquers Death. Are they going to bounce this? Ooh, they could. Pretty good setup. But they don't get a card for it. So, other Master of Time, right? We could go get the Light of Hope now in preparation for them to play this and exile Narset next turn. But I think a Master of Time might draw their attention. And we might draw into some good cards.
If I don't have a plan, I'll just make one up.
If they want to keep ECDing this Teferi, that's okay with me.
This might be a bad idea.
Life total probably doesn't matter as much as having the right mana at the right time in this matchup. Another one, and now this is on the table. So, Light of Hope. There you are. I am worried about Anissa, but we will see. It would have been nice if I could have also been able to get the Fae onto the battlefield. And we still haven't found our own Elspeth Conquers Deaths. Easily the most important card we could find. And they say go. And we draw Gust. And they're sitting on a Teferi. They have an Uro in the graveyard with 4. We could go get a Grafdigger's Cage, but I don't think it matters much against the Teferi. So let's keep this going. I think they have a Shark Typhoon, and we'll play a Fae of Wishes to block it.
There's not too many many apocalypses to let another happen.
Would I like to play the Fae of Wishes, or would I like to keep my mana going? I think I'd like to keep my mana going. Gust is a lot worse at sorcery speed. Casket's solid. I don't know. This is tough. I really want to keep the Faes, and I want to go get more mana. Gust is so much worse at sorcery speed, though. And I don't have an easy answer to this Teferi yet. Alright. This is weird. But you're kind of acting on faith that Casket will be good against tokens, Casket will be good against Krasis. We know those things are coming. And the opponent's trying to play around like the Narset and such. Here's the Typhoon. We can hit it with the Teferi. Let's see what the opponent attacks. They have their own Master of Time. That's really bad against Narset. Oh, they forgot. Oh, are we going to get a Shame Scoop? Throw a card in the graveyard. Oh, man. Oh. Oh, that's not the droid you're looking for. Chucks the Casket. Alright, so they have Casket in their deck as well. They drew a land off the top. So they still haven't found Nissa, I don't think.
I've done the hero thing before.
Attack the Narset. Let's phase the Shark. Shatter off the top. Make a wall. So my plan is, I know I can't Casket this now, but my plan is to play some Phase of Wishes, which the opponent doesn't really want to bounce. They may want to phase, but they don't want to bounce. So another land. That extra land that we went and fetched is looking really nice right now. Let's use the Granted. Let's go find Mass Manipulation. And let's play some 1/4s. See if the opponent can get around this. Graveyard for the opponent, 6 cards. They can bring an Uro back, but they have to get rid of the Narset, or they don't get to draw. Shatter out of there. Full cost Shark Typhoon. There's always some clown who thinks that's the way. And the scoop. Okay. Okay. What were we going to do about that Typhoon? It was going to be tough. I guess I was going to steal my opponent's Teferi and bounce it. They could have minused the Teferi in anticipation of that. I don't know. Yep. Nice curve. Go get a blue right away. Have the Gust available. Shatter, we may have to get the right land to make work. I'm down for that. I know, I could deny them information. Shut up. Nobody cares. Aether Gust looking alright against a green aggressive deck, but being on the draw is always hard. Ooh. Must be Gruul. Gruul is very hard. So, do we want to make our 0-4 and make sure we curve out well and save our Casket, save our Aether Gust? Or do we just want to get rid of this before it causes us a bunch of pain? What if we Aether Gust the next creature they play? The question with these hands is always the same. How do we actually interact with a Questing Beast? But I think if we Aether Gust their Spellbreaker here, they're really far behind. Right now I don't have a good interaction for Questing Beast. Master of Time can pause it, but we don't have an Elspeth Conquers Death, anything like that. That is gustable, so that's the plan. They put it on the bottom, they miss a land drop. Seems good for us. Fairy, you got this.
I can no longer stand by. That's more like it.
When they're empty board on turn 3, you feel like you're in a good spot. But they've got Hasty Zata to come whack Teferi in the face.
Now what?
Alright, let's do Birth, and then Casket that thing. There's a lot of cheap cards that we could use Glass Casket on. This one's just fine. What we really want to do is we want to get to the spot where we can Teferi plus and have the mana up for Shatter the Sky. If we can do that, we'll be in a good place. Yeah, they're not going to Questing Beast next turn. They haven't hit land drops, so we'll just play this in plus.
Don't worry.
No use for the 2 mana. Other than a bluff, which everybody calls in Arena anyway, so it doesn't really make sense on regular ladder. Only at super intense high ladder does it make sense. Or unless you can judge your opponent based on the plays they're making, that they're super smart, playing around stuff, being big brain, then bluffing can make a difference. But yeah, opponent just never found the land. Mythic Door. Knocking on Mythic. Is this a hand that gets us to Mythic? It looks like a good hand, but it doesn't have any broken 3-mana Planeswalkers. I'm still keeping it. But if I had a Teferi or a Narset, I'd be calling my shot right now. We'll keep the 4th land, especially a land that gains life. And who is the end boss? We see a Lovestruck Beast. At this point, it's either Teamer Adventures or Mono Green, most likely, maybe Gruul. Of those, I want to play Mono Green. Alright, let's kick it with the Fae. Just cut them off from the get-go. Make them extend into the Shatter. Here's a troll. That's a draw. So I could hold up the Aether Gust for what? If the opponent goes for a Gem Razor, that's a pretty good gust. But with a Shatter in hand, I don't think I need it. I could play the Birth now and get an 0-4. There's a few things with that. I don't want to blow up my 0-4. But the longer we wait to Shatter, I think the better things get. Give ourselves time to draw into the goods. And if we draw badly, we can always bounce the Fae and go get some goods. There's the Gem Razor. It's a pretty good ECD, though. Actually, it's a really good gust. Because it's 2 creatures, so it makes them draw them over the course of 2 turns. They have a human on the board, so they can't just redraw and play the Gem Razor. And we do it now because the troll can give this thing hexproof. Top, bottom, bottom, top. Life's full of tough choices. Both to the top, and then, well, now I can't tell. That's really annoying. It should say whether or not they kept them on top or put them on bottom at that point. It looked like they put them on top, but you never frickin' know, do ya? Okay, they're doing this again, right into the Elspeth Conquers Death. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. God bless them. Everyone. Enjoy your troll. And a Lovestruck Beast. Okay. So now we shatter, right? Because we get back the Fae. Sends a message. Another beacon? It's extra life, and I'm going to start looting with Teferi anyway, and I guess it's better than the island that's in my hand. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The Guardians are coming. The Guardians are coming. That is a good way to recover, for sure. So, I could return this to my hand and go granted for a time wipe. The opponent attacks me for 9. Then we play this. Well, we need another land, but we could play this and then time wipe the next turn. Or we could play the Master of Time and just get that thing ticking. Let's wait a minute on the time wipe strat. There's a lot of good stuff we could draw.
If nothing else, I will protect the multi.
Drop that off. We can play this. That'll make another wall. Goes and gets another plains for us to discard to our Teferi. And now we're looking for Ugin. Where are you at, dude? This is still a close game. The opponent, I would say we're ahead, but the opponent certainly can do things here. Alright, they go for the Guardian. We can phase it in response. They can use it again, but that's all their mana for the turn. Alright. So it gets no counters. They get no fetch. They still have 3 mana. Alright, they have another Crab People ready to go. And a Lovestruck Beast. This is getting scary. Let's see what we draw. That doesn't hit anything they have, but it can hit a Lovestruck Beast, but it's not great. This might be fetch into time wipe. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they can't kill me next turn, right? Deep thinking time. So what if we block first, then bounce this, and then the next turn, can we 1, 2, 3, 4? It's not enough. So we should do it now if we're going to do it. Planar Cleansing or Time Wipe? Everything that they have is going to be a creature, right? Could also grab Ugin, but we're short the land to play him. Yep, let's grab the wipe. They can take a chunk out of me, but I don't think they're gonna kill me. You're going to make sure Teferi dies. Whether or not to plus Teferi is a question of what you believe in. It really is a question of what you believe in. So, I believe that there's always better options and that seeing more of your deck will make the better players win. So I'm going to plus this Teferi, planning to discard what I draw. And it's an easy choice, thankfully. Opponent gets the last Growth Chamber Guardian. They pump the other Guardian just because. I guess they wanted to auto-pass. Or see if the 5th Guardian somehow got in there. Narset off the top. Alright, play the Fae. Play the Wipe. Get the Fae back. Wipe out the Guardians. bug, draw animation bug. You see it here. That is not another Guardian. As you see now, it is clearly a Scavenging Ooze. And the opponent's rebuilding well. So what can we get for 3 mana that will solve this situation? If we draw a land off the top, going to get Ugin is a pretty good solution. The opponent's going to hit me pretty hard because they have a lot of cards in their graveyard. Oh, we drew an Ugin. Okay. Maybe we go get an Ashiok here and just exile their graveyard. That's pretty funny, but it does gain 2 life and it keeps me from taking 5. The other option is to play the Narset and try to hit a Shatter the Sky. The Ashiok thing is so funny because I never would have guessed I'd do it in this spot. What if I could just kill the Ooze? I can gust it. Let's just try to kill it. All we need is another land, or a Shatter, or a Teferi, just something to set it back. That's something. Alright, upkeep.
Let's make this quick.
Bye. Bye, buddy. I guess I can hold this because we might use this. Nah. We don't want the opponent to think about Ugin at all. We've waited too long already. They know it's a land. But what we'll do... No, we don't even want a phase. Right? We want Ugin to exile that little bugger. Sure. I could phase the Guardian. I don't want to phase either. We know what's up. Make the opponent exile something so that this hits the Teferi hard enough. They went to their own graveyard first. That's whack. I know if I phase it, I get to keep it. I'm just not sure if I'll get to remove it. I want to remove all the things. Rip. Still 35 cards to go. This is fine. Everything's fine. All things here are doing great. Lock it in, baby. Gonna be so mythic it hurts.
I've learned my lesson.
Oh yeah, play into it. See, hiding that land might have hid the Ugin, which is a big deal. Opponent said, what? You want to give me that mythic now?
Perfection is a journey, not a destination.
They could have a Questing Beast. Questing Beast is a way to swing this thing
Looks like
all the way
I'm
back.
Out of time.
I have reached my limit.
I feel like this game had a lot of curves and twists, and I could have been in a better position right now, because if they did have a Questing Beast here, I would be sweating my top decks. I feel like I should be further ahead than I am. Alright, I had a Lovestruck Beast and a Pel Collector. Wow. Gust off the top. I could -3 again and just get rid of all this. I think that's better. Hold this for a Teferi?
Reality
Sure.
is on.
How many Teferis are gone? 1, 2. There were a lot of them. 3. Unlikely to find a Teferi. More likely to find, like, Finale or Fae or something that needs the land. There's the beast. There it frickin' is, you guys. Ugh. Alright. Gust you. Kill the beast. It's on top of the deck, though. It's going to come back. This draw step is huge. Wow. Wow.
My flames burn beyond perception.
I could Ashiok it for the LOL. The other option is to get a Disdainful Stroke, which is a pretty clean, I'm going to counter that if you play it. I know you guys want the Ashiok. If they draw another Questing Beast off the top, though, I will frickin' die. I will, like, it will be the end of CGB. Alright, they're making me play it out. Hard mode.
Consider this a warning.
Might have to do it with damage, not the concession button. What is this world? Oh, there it is. What? What? There it is. Fork it over. Did it on the YouTubes. Woot! And we're going to do the post-games wrap. First, I know you want to see the number. I am lucky number 1,143rd with 18 days to go in the lovely season. Would I change the deck? Not even a little. Okay, I actually changed the deck a lot to get it to this point, even though it looks probably extremely similar. I played with a lot of different stuff, and this is my build. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I don't need counter spells. I can keep those in the sideboard for the late game situations where they matter. Love the 8 Teferis and the Narsets. Love Shattering. Love the ECDing. Even the Aether Gusts. These cards shine again and again. And the Casket and the Birth to protect my beautiful planies. And of course, Eugene. Big Eugene. Taking over games. Crushing the spirits of opponents left, right, and center. And in the sideboard, was there anything I never fetched? This is a trap, but whatever. Never had to fetch a Planar Cleansing, so I guess that's... many times I almost did, but never actually did. Everything else, maybe the last Ugin's a trap too. Those are the two I never fetched. Everything else got fetched. Alright, so with that, thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed the road to Mythic for this season. Don't know if I'm going to do it next season, in August, next month, because I think what I found the hardest about this is if I wanted to take a break from ranked, I really didn't feel like I could. I felt like I had to make a video of me ranking up every day to continue the journey. And there are plenty of days where I like a break from ranked. I like to play unranked and try some different decks. I have a whole bunch of decks featuring M21 cards that probably aren't great, but are very fun and interesting that I didn't want to play in ranked. I was too I just knew they'd get hit by mono red and wouldn't win, and I'd have to work all the harder to get to Mythic. So I don't know if I'm going to do this in the future, but let me know in comments what you think of the content. Personally, I think I'm happiest making content when if I don't want to play ranked, I don't have to. So that's probably going to be the future. Although I still will play plenty of ranked when I think my deck is good and I think it can help some of you get to Mythic or hit whatever goals you're trying to hit. So yeah, stay tuned to that. Shout out to the Cool Kids Club. You watched all this blue-white control without leaving a complaining comment. Big cool. Epic cool. Mythic, some would say cool. Goodbye.